I found secret spell that is completely broken and it makes Lightning Archer insane in 100% chance to hit with the spell. Also, this archer can make enemies drop their weapons, and damage is really insane, considering you can easily double it for just crazy numbers. This build is insanely insane. I can't stop saying this because it's just broken. So if you want to make the most broken Lightning Archer in Baldur's Gate 3, you want to start from character creation. Archer. So we got half-elf here, and half-elf with wooden half-elf subrace is extremely nice because we will get additional movement speed, therefore we can kite enemies a little bit. Starting class will be a ranger, and that's the best class you want to have as Lightning Archer. You will understand why in a minute, because technically best archers will be fighters with a rogue, multiclass and stuff like this. But ranger of course is a great pick too, especially if you're going for Gloomstalker ranger, and that's where we will go. But when you will see final build, it will blow your mind how good it can be, and it was right nearby. But I haven't saw anyone doing exactly this build, so that's pretty cool one. For Natural Explorer we can go with Urban Tracker if you want sleight of hand proficiency, but you can go with Wanderer Fire. Wanderer Fire will give you resistance to fire damage, therefore you will be just basically like more powerful dude. And then favorite enemy, it will be a Ranger Knight to get proficiency in heavy armor. Normally rangers got only medium armor proficiency, but heavy armor is the way to go if you want to be Lightning Archer. Yeah, you don't care about this stylish leather stuff, you want like insanely powerful armor on yourself, even while we having high dexterity. Background, I like to get noble, so we get persuasion proficiency just in case we will use this guy in dialogues. This with all our stats will give us +1 to persuasion, so that's like most common check in the game, and that's why I like to have it. Also we get perception and survival and nature proficiency. That's all we need. We can change survival to athletics, of course, that's better and more useful stuff for fights, and that's our ability distribution. So we're going with 10 strength, just to have 0 penalty on jumping, and wisdom is the main spellcasting ability for rangers, and that's why we're having 16 into wisdom. Yeah, 16 wisdom is really important stuff, and this will increase our spellcasting abilities a lot. Still, our main damage most of the time will come from basic damage, and that's why dexterity is the main attribute. We're having 17 in dexterity to being able to hit enemies more often, and of course some constitution just to survive and have more health. So that's how we roll, and let's go into game, where you will without problems get yourself to the beach and already will be level 2 character. And honestly, you can be even level 4 without fights. So let's see how our character will look like at level 4 in Act 1. At level 2 you want to have your spells ready, and the main spells will be Hunter's Mark with Long Strider. So, Hunter's Mark will increase our damage, while Long Strider give me more movement speed, therefore we can make even more attacks before enemies come close. Fighting style. Of course we're going with bow style, and that's why we're going with archery. So, at level 3 we will get additional spell, and considering we don't want to use concentration spells, we will go with Enhanced Leap now. But also we can pick subclass at level 3, this will be Gloomstalker. And coolest part, actually you can go with Hunter. When you play in this style, you're not locked in for Gloomstalker, but that's just strongest ranger among them all. And by using the strategies I will show you, you can actually play even Beastmaster. But the best one will be Gloomstalker, and I'm always trying to show you the best. And then level 4, that's where we get our feat. And most of the time when you playing archers or any range subclass with the bow, crossbow, you want to have sharpshooter. But we don't want to have sharpshooter right now at this guy, because we will have -5 penalty to attack rolls to get additional 10 damage. But -5 is a lot for us right now, and we're not looking for this extra damage actually. We want to hit more often, that's why ability improvement +2 into dexterity is the way to go. And after finishing Act 1, probably you will already have 20 dexterity.
by getting items that will give you +1 dexterity. If you know, you know. If you're not having it, of course you can respec your character and just round it up to 18 right now. So let's see how our lightning archer can perform right now before I will explain what items you want to have here in Act 1. Of course, you want to start your day by casting a long strider, but if it's possible before the fight, cast Enhanced Sleep on yourself. These two spells is rituals, and outside of the fight they will cost no spell slots. Then you can enter the fight from sneaky position, and actually you can start a fight by casting Hunter's Mark. It uses bonus action and also spell slot, but it will most probably surprise your enemies. When they're surprised, you will have one extra action as this, like basically a fight, and that's the coolest part. As Gloomstalker, at the first turn you will have Dread Ambusher with additional +1d8 damage, without any action, bonus action, so that's just completely extra attack. Arrows of lightning at your disposal, and they basically doing 1d8 +5 piercing damage with additional 2d4 lightning. And without sharpshooter, our chances to hit will most likely be around 90%, which is pretty nice damage type. And we are already invisible after destroying this bro. After killing your initial target, you can recast Hunter's Mark with bonus action on the next turn on other enemies to inflict even more damage. But let's find out how much damage we're doing right now. With Critical Strike, it's 44 lightning plus 2d8 piercing plus 5 plus 2d6 piercing from Hunter's Mark. So around 30 damage total, which is pretty insane. And that's more than a lot of enemies have right now, so we'll probably one-shot lots of them. But not only that, on the next turn our chances to hit is a lot higher. So right now I got 95% chance to hit my enemies, and that's thanks to my gear. So let me destroy this bro. He is done, almost done. He's actually surviving, but as you can see he's fallen prone right now, and you know it will be hard time for him to go and basically fight versus us. So at level 4 you won't be able to do any extra attacks, but we can use our bonus action to jump away, and if we've casted Enhanced Sleep before the fight, the sleep will be really far leap. With 14 meters movement speed we can even travel a little bit and probably even end the fight, but most of the time you just end the fight, enemies will pick themselves up, heal a little bit and try to dash to you. So that's the power of Archer, basically keep distance from your enemies and you will never be in trouble. Just let them do their turn and dash straight to you, and you will finish him next turn. Because after I attack this bro, I will become invisible, and that's the last place where enemies have seen me, so I can move to another place and wait. They will most of the time try to investigate, but they never can find us, and we easily will destroy them. Oh my goodness, this lady is done. So how this stuff works? Let's take a look at the items. First of all, and most importantly, we get Jolt Shooter. So that's a lightning bow. When you're dealing damage using this weapon, you're gaining 2 lightning charges. Each lightning charge will give us +1 to attack rolls, that's why our chances to hit got higher after first initial attack, and then we deal in additional lightning damage each attack. When we get a lot more lightning charges, to 5, the next lightning charge will do 1d8 lightning damage instead of 1. To spice things up, we got Gloves of Brilliant Skies. When we're dealing lightning damage, we're inflicting 2 turns of reverberation upon the target. And reverberation is conditioned when enemy got -1 to saving throws, and when he get 5 or more turns of reverberation, he taking thunder damage and possibly falling prone. That's what you saw when this enemy fell prone. To buff the things even more, we got Boots of Stormy Clamor. When we are inflict a condition and reverberation is condition, we also inflicting even more reverberation, so that's how we can actually accumulate a lot of stacks of reverberation really quickly. There's 2 types of boots that you can look for in Act 1. Basically, Boots of Speed is really useful too if you like kiting playstyle, because they will give you click heals action, and it can be used as bonus action. Another useful stuff is disintegrating night walkers that will give you misty steps that you can use every short rest to reposition yourself, also useful stuff. Then for armor, you can go with any good like medium armor, but I like to have adamantine splint mail on this guy, basically heavy adamantine armor that you can easily craft, and all incoming damage will be reduced by 2. When someone comes in melee range, they will have 3 turns of reeling, and that's insanely powerful stuff. They can do attack of opportunity, but they will have -3 to attack rolls, so pretty much like impossible to hit you. Stuff that you will get later in Act 1 is Knife of Undemounted King, and it will reduce number you need to roll for critical hit by 1. That's pretty like straightforward and nice stuff. You don't need to attack with this dagger, it also affects your bow. And last but not least is Dash Stalker Mantle. So this mantle is really cool one, and it will be available to you only as Dark Ursh. So this will give you ability to kill enemy and become invisible for 2 turns. That's cool, but you're not forced to be Dark Ursh. So you can play like as normal character, and that's the not most important stuff of our build. But levels that we pick is really important. So now let's find out how we level up in Act 2 and basically how we play in Act 2. And we going as Ranger, so level 5 we get different spells, and nice spells that you can use here is Pass Without Trace if you need some stealth checks, Spike Grows if you wish to have concentration on some area zoning spell, but honestly you don't need loads of spells. So basically pick whatever you like, maybe good berries for some healing, and that's it. On level 6 we can pick additional favored enemy, and there's not like a lot of good stuff to pick here, so just pick whatever you like, it won't change a lot. Natural Explorer, again, if you like Sleight of Hand and you haven't picked it yet, maybe using him as not like someone who steals a lot of items, but who disable loads of traps. Sleight of Hand is the check you're doing when you like disabling traps. And probably there's not a lot of enemies who can do poison damage to you, that's why, you know, it's a great pick. But Cold is extremely rare damage type in this game, so poison is the way to go. Level 7, again, we're picking Ranger. Right now we will have additional subclass feature, Iron Mind, and we will gain proficiency in Wisdom and Intelligence saving throws, which is pretty good stuff. And one more spell from level 2, pick whatever you like. But at level 8 we will get Landstride Difficult Terrain, so difficult terrain no longer slows us down, that's pretty good stuff for Archer. And we're getting additional feat, so right now actually I think the Sharpshooter is a great choice. We can't pick any better feat right now, so Sharpshooter to deal additional damage is nice stuff. But level 9, that's where we finally can become completely broken Lightning Archer, because that's where you can unlock this spell. So most of the time when you pick in Ranger subclass, you're stopping at level 5, you know, when you unlock additional attack per action, and that's it. But look what we have here, we get Lightning Arrow, level 3 transmutation spell that dealing 48 lightning damage with additional 2d8 lightning damage. Yeah, that's 6 to 48 damage on hit, and that's extremely cool and powerful stuff if you want to be Lightning Archer, of course. And that's how this guy will perform in Act 2. First of all, look how scary this spell is. It's looking crazy, and area of effect is pretty like nice too. So when we shoot this bow, it will do this amount of damage in a radius. Like, that's crazy. She is just right. So the main problem for us is that this spell using dexterity saving throw from enemies. And this means no matter Sharpshooter right now turned on or off, our Lightning Arrow will have same chance on enemies depending on their dexterity throw. But you can't miss. Basically, yeah, it's 100% chance to hit, but the enemy can take half the damage. We don't want enemies to take half the damage. That's why we get this insane strategy. So basically we can use Misty Step right now to reposition ourselves pretty easily. By having high ground, we can have really nice chance on basic attacks on our enemies and do pretty crazy amount of damage. So right now to hit this guy with really high defense, we got 60% chance to do it, but just in a matter of seconds. We can attack some guys with 90% chance, so pretty like stable stuff. and change our damage of lightning arrow to 100%. Yeah, now we get 100% chance to basically hit every enemy, and they will take from 6 to 48 damage. Look here. So that's an arrow and that's the damage. Of course, it's extremely useful if enemies standing nearby, because we still get only 2 spell slots of level 3, so that's not like the spell you will use every attack, like every fight, but it's really useful to destroy a few enemies together. And in all other cases we will use just basic attack, and can be really devastating too. So it can do like 1d8 piercing damage plus 1 plus 5 dexterity with additional lightning damage. And we're rolling 2d4s plus 1 to determine our lightning damage. So it's pretty nice stuff. And also we can make enemies prone with reverberation, of course, some psychic damage on top. And yeah, we can add plus 10 with sharpshooter, but that's not it. By being this crazy Gloomstalker, you can actually induce fear into enemies. And this will make enemies drop their weapon with 100% chance. So yeah, it's actually like 100% chance they can't stand a chance to keep their weapons. They will be feared no matter what. So you induce fear in enemies and destroy them with crazy lightning attacks. That's how we play. So how this all works? Basically we get these arrows of many targets. And when you attack with this arrow, it will attack multiple enemies in large radius. So as you can see, radius is extremely large. And every time we're doing attacks, we're gaining arcane equity stacks. They will give us plus 1 bonus to spell difficulty class, and this will make basically this spell impossible to beat. This will make the spell basically 100% hit chance rate, so we can hit with the spell and do some lightning damage, like pretty crazy lightning damage. And this will buff our bow. So on the next attack we're doing a lot more lightning damage, even with just basic attack. Don't forget to turn sharpshooter when you're doing basic lightning arrows, so you're doing a lot more damage. And that's how we look like. I think it's a really cool looking character. And all of this thanks to our gear. So what we're looking for in Act 2. First of all, we can change our armor, for example, to Dark Justiciar half plate. This will give us ability to concentrate on Shield of Faith, that will give us additional 2 armor class, up to 23. And we will inflict additional damage thanks to our Strange Conduit rings that you can find in Act 1.5 in Githyanki Crochet. Another ring that you can find before Act 2 is Ring of Elemental Infusion. And basically when you're dealing lightning damage with your spell, this element infuses your weapon, and on the next attack we're doing additional 1d4 lightning damage, which is pretty cool. And Act 1 Amulet, Amulet of Misty Step, pretty one, like nice one, so we get additional Misty Step per short rest, very nice stuff. Armor, you can actually ignore this stuff, you can still keep your like heavy armor or any other armor you like. Because Fear is concentration spell, it will make you concentrate on this fear for 2 turns, so you don't want to concentrate on other spells if you're using Fear. But if you like to just stand from the distance and attack enemies with your Jolt Shooter, then definitely you can go with Dark Justiciar half plate. Otherwise, just concentrate on Hunter's Mark and Fear, cycle between them and you will be fine. Again, Fear is level 3 spell, so we don't have a lot of spell slots from level 3, that's the problem. But only for now, we will fix it really soon. And the main important stuff for us is Helm of Arcane Equity. So that's basically how all things bind together. When we're doing normal attacks, we're gaining this Arcane Equity stacks thanks to this helmet. And that's basically how you do this build and finish this stuff. And last but not least is Drakethroat Glaive. Drakethroat Glaive is really cool stuff because you will gain ability to cast Elemental Infusion on your weapon. And to do it on your bow, you just need to drop bow on the ground and basically cast this Draconic Elemental weapon. Now pick Lightning Infusion, of course, and just infuse your weapon with some elemental damage. It will not only give +1 to your damage enchantment, but also additional lightning damage on top. Coolest part, we don't need a lot of items in Act 3, so when we come into Act 3, we're basically almost ready. There's actually just 2 weapons we're looking for in Act 3. First one will be Rhapsody. That's pretty nice and cool weapon, and even its dagger, it will give you +1 bonus to attack rolls and spell save DC for each 4 you slay, for a maximum of +3, but again, it's pretty great bonus here, especially considering it applies to your basic attacks and also to your magic attacks. Then we get this Gaunter Mile, that's like extremely late game-ish bow, and you will get it extremely like later stages of the game, but still it's great bow. On hit it possibly will inflict a guiding bolt, so you will have advantage on next attack roll, but coolest part, it got Celestial Haste. Basically it's haste that you will need to concentrate on, but you won't be stunned after it will turn off, so that's like best haste in the game. And pretty cool spell, Bolt of Celestial Light. It can be used every short rest and it will do your basic bow damage and possibly frighten your target, but also you will inflict radiant damage later with each attack, which is like really cool stuff. And before we are ready to make all of this stuff work together, we need to level up first, of course. And instead of continuing as a ranger, which is actually a nice option, or switching to fighter, what you probably saw in most builds, you know, to have this ability to do more attacks in one single turn, we actually want to get sorcerer. Yeah, we are magic archer, we don't need this other fighter stuff, you know, we're going with sorcerer. And I like to have shocking grasp on my sorcerer and then some exploration stuff, so minor illusion, dancing lights, and you can go in with mage hand. Then about spells. So for spells we don't care a lot. You can go with exploration like Featherfall, you already have enhanced sleep from our ranger background. You can have shield, that's pretty like nice spell to have protection on enemies. And funnily enough, Chromatic Orb is a nice pick. As for subclass, you can go with 2 options. First one will be Wild Magic, of course, just to have a lot of fun, you know? When you're casting spells, there will be a bunch of different stuff that can happen and you will have a lot of fun. But sometimes Wild Magic effects is not good for you, so Storm Sorcery will be a better pick, so you can just use bonus action to fly after you cast spells. That's like nice pick to have. Then we want to have one more level in Sorcerer, pick any spell you like, it doesn't matter, most important stuff to pick right meta magic, and it will be extended spell and twinned spell right now. And then last level will be Sorcerer again, of course, so we will unlock spells from level 2, and nice spells will be Mirror Image to add armor class just in case we are in danger, but also there's another options like Hold Person, for example. And one more meta magic, Quicken Spell is the choice, so we can use our bonus action to attack with our spells. But to do it we need a lot of sorcery points or a lot of spell slots. Coolest part, we can upcast this lightning arrow to level 4 for 8 to 64 lightning damage. Sounds really cool, but we get only one spell slot of level 4. And there's really easy fix to it, so you will have a lot of potions of angelic reprieve in Act 2. And that's how you do your stuff. Basically, you use an action create sorcery points and use all your level 1 and level 2 sorcery points. So just spend them and you will have around like 12 sorcery points, maybe even a little bit more. So that's like 3 spell slots of level 2 and then like 3 more spell slots of level 1. We will have 13 sorcery points. Now use all your sorcery points just to create spell slots of level 4, so we can easily go and create a bunch of them. It will take like around like 10-20 seconds if you're doing this fast. Now we're out of sorcery points, but we got some spell slots, that's cool. And also we will lose all spell slots of level 1 and level 4. But using Potion of Angelic Reprieve will put you into Slumber, which will give you benefits of short rest, and you regain all spell slots of 1st and 2nd level. So just by spending like 12 seconds, it's 2 turns, basically like 12 seconds of sleeping in Slumber, you'll regain all spell slots of level 1 and level 2, and also your 3 sorcery points, so you can repeat the process again. And by creating lots of sorcery points, technically you can have as much as you like, as long as you're not bored to doing this stuff. Don't forget you can put Sharpshooter Lean on your hotbar so you can turn it on and off depending on the situation. And what you can do now is like insane. So first of all, there's one thing that you can actually get a lot when you're going into Act 3, and that's water. Yeah, water bottles is extremely important for us because now we can throw them and this will make enemies vulnerable to lightning damage. So while they wet, they are vulnerable to lightning, and also they are not mad. Basically, you can throw water at them as much as you like, they won't really become mad. And this means before the fight you can use extended spell that will cost only 1 sorcery points and cast extended celestial haste. So you will have this haste for 10 turns just for 1 sorcery point. Now you will concentrate on this stuff, and this will give you 2 actions. So basically you start in a fight with 2 actions, 1 bonus action and ability to do Dread Ambusher attack. And that's how you want to start a fight, especially if your enemies is already wet. Basically you're casting a lightning arrow with lightning arrow upcasted to level 4 for a maximum of 64 damage. But considering enemies is wet, you can do up to 120 damage with just 1 spell. And funny part, if you got enough sorcery points, you actually can cast it as bonus action, so you can do it technically like 3 times. And also you can do it with twin spell, so by having only 1 action and 4 sorcery points, you can target 2 different creatures at once. And don't forget, there's 2 instances of damage, so it's 5d8 initial damage to initial target, and then 3d8 to initial target and 2 targets around it. So if we target 2 guys together, basically we're doing like some crazy amounts of damage. And don't forget there's chance to crit on these guys, and critical strikes will be just broken, you know? Oh yeah, we just critted on him. And look at them now. That's just crazy. So the damage is just like insane. We're doing like 26 plus 96 plus 34 lightning damage. And basically next attack on hit I would go with basic Dread Ambusher or with Arrow of Lightning. Don't forget, Arrow of Lightning is still really useful, especially if enemies is wet. We're doing like pretty nice damage. Also, if you're looking for some nice on hit damage, just go with this Gaunter Mile spell. So your next attacks will inflict some radiant damage on top. But still, twin spell with level 3 lightning arrow is basically the way to go, especially if enemies together, to just fry them. And that's how lightning archers look like. I think this build is really fun to play, and you will definitely enjoy it in Baldur's Gate 3. Have fun, watch other cool videos on the screen right now, and see you there.